Hi, this is Francis from Easel. Today I'm going to talk through just a really quick troubleshooting step for 3D carves. It's something that we see a lot in the technical support department, and I think it's just really important to cover it. We've covered it a couple more times in other videos, but I think it's really important to dedicate something to it, just because it does seem to cause quite a bit of confusion, and I just want to kind of clarify one more time specifically in a video. And essentially it has to do with two specific cut styles in 3D, rectangle relief and model boundary relief. When you set rectangle relief and model boundary relief, they come with a cut depth that you set. And so what happens is that cut depth, I think it defaults to, it really depends on your material size, but I think it defaults normally to like 0.5 of an inch or half an inch. And essentially, sometimes what that will do is it will cut off part of your model. And anything below that cut depth isn't going to get carved. And so what happens is someone will do a 3D model, and they'll be like, oh, it didn't carve everything. They'll reach out to technical support. And really, it's just about changing that cut depth and making sure that that's consistent. And there's a really easy way to tell what's getting carved and what's not. And I think there's a couple of ways to tell. The first one would be to just generate the toolpath. That's the easiest. And look at the finishing path specifically, because anything that's in the finishing path is what's getting carved. So if you just see parts of your carve happening in the finishing pass, most likely your cut depth is not correct. The other really easy way to tell, and I just have to adjust this really quick to kind of verify it, is if you look at your model with the cut depth creates, when you have like a full depth cutout, you won't see that gray rectangle that's over all of your material. But if you add like a rectangle relief or a model boundary relief, you'll see this gray rectangle appear. And that rectangle signifies your cut depth. So if you're looking at it, you can see that part of my model is highlighted here and here, but the rest of my model is not highlighted and kind of grayed out. That grayed out means that it's below the cut depth and is not going to get carved. And so that signals to me that I need to adjust my model. Specifically, adjust the cut depth on my model. So in this instance, I'm going to move my cut depth down, and to get there, if you click on cut style, and you'll see rectangle relief or model boundary relief at the top, and then cut depth. And you just want to adjust this until as much of that model, and it's okay to adjust it more than once, but as much of that model as you want to carve is visible and not kind of grayed out. And so when I generate this toolpath, and it's going to take a little bit longer because there's more to generate, we can see that my entire model is being covered in that blue finishing pass, which means that my cut depth is deep enough to catch all of my model. I will mention also that part of my model, or part of the reason that these are not being carved, these little points here, is that my model is a little bigger than my material. So you'll want to check that too. It's always really good to check. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller here. And now when I generate this toolpath, it's going to look fully covered in blue, which is what we want. That's the finishing pass. We want it to be completely covered. So I really, if you see that grayed out parts of your model, unless you're intentionally trying to do that, if you see it grayed out, you really want to make sure that your cut depth is accurate. And working really well. Some models go all the way down to the bottom of the material, so you may need to adjust the model size. But in this case, you just want to make sure that cut depth is encompassing everything you want to carve. Have a wonderful day.
To learn more, head over to easel.com.